Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we want to present our summarize about the conventional steering system. So we summarize this from the article, journal and everything in between 2017 until 2022. Okay, before we go through to the strategy review, let me introduce you our team member. We are from Group B, BMMA Section 2/1. So first is me, Arif Farhan bin Abdurrahim. Secondly is Nik Muhammad Mubashir bin Omar Mahyudin. And third, Faris Aiman bin Amiruddin. And lastly is Muhammad Faiz Farhan bin Mansur. Okay, for the introduction, why we need to know about the steering system. So as we can see today, there are many types of steering system had been developed by our past engineer, like rod and pinion, steer by wire, steering box, hydraulic power steering, and then the latest one is the electronic power steering. So, but the function is only one, which is to transmit the movement of the steering wheel down to the steering shaft in order to move the wheel either left or right. In the industry automobile, for the most popular conventional steering system is the rod and pinion, because it's maybe about the cost and the maintenance of the rod and pinion is easy than other system. And due to the demand of car increases, power steering system had been developed by Francis Davis in 1926. That's why as we can see that today, rod and pinion mostly are using hydraulic power steering and electronic power steering, maybe because of the cost and the design is simple and more practicality. So that there are many articles, studies and journals that discuss various type of steering system. That's why we make a summary from the other journal so that we can see more technology and development by the by reading the journal. So this is some of the our literature review that we made, and we will explain more detail on the next slide. Okay, for the first article is design and analysis of steering gear and intermediate shaft for manual rack and pinion steering system. This is my summarize. So let's go. Okay, for this journal, the methodology is this journal investigate the characteristic of a rack and pinion gear system by focus on bending and contact stresses of the pinion gear and rack bending stress. They're also using analytic and finite element analysis to find the life of the intermediate steering shaft in cycles and determine the factor of safety of the shaft by using fatigue analysis of intermediate steering shaft. Overall, they use ANSYS of software to analyze safety of the component. There are two major analyses carried out in this project. The first one is deformation analysis, and the second one is the stress analysis. In this journal also, they state 3 steps in the design and fatigue analysis of steering shaft, which is design calculation of intermediate steering shaft. There are many formula. There are, if you can see in the article, in their study, there are many formula they're using to calculate the intermediate steering shaft. Also to calculate the stress analysis of intermediate steering shaft, fatigue analysis of intermediate steering shaft. There are many calculation and formula that they use to study this, and that's why uh, they are come out with the good result in such a analysis. Steel rod and pinion steering gear pair is having least strength value, hence steel rod and pinion steering gear pair was safe for design. In steering gear design, the diameter of pinion 15 millimeter and face weight 47 millimeter and module 2.5 millimeter was satisfied. By using finite element method, a stress analysis of steering rack is done. The error percent between theoretical and simulation was 10.8% for von Mises stress and 2.5% for deformation. Fatigue analysis of intermediate steering shaft is done. There is small difference between theoretical and simulation result. The error percent was 4.8% for one Mises stress and 4.1 for deformation. Uh, so in this article, they are state in table. So the result of the each test uh, and analysis that we can see properly, but I cannot put in this slide because it's very packed. So that's all from me. Thank you, and I will move past to the next.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nik Muhammad Mubashir bin Omar Mahiruddin from BMMA, Section 2, Stroke 1. Okay, for Journal 2, Modeling and Simulation of Rack Pinion Steering System with Manufacturing Errors for Performance Prediction. The aim of this journal is to estimate the mechanical rack pinion gear functional behavior by means of a multi-body simulation of the system, considering measure rack and pinion gear geometry. Okay, for the methodology, they use a standard functional test of mechanical steering gear. There are several tests that have been conducted, such as rack yoke clearance test rig, rack rolling, and rack displacement force. For the rack yoke clearance test rig, is a test to measure uh, the rack yoke clearance, either manage to control the friction and noise response of rack pinion gear. For the rack rolling test, as we know, the rack pinion axes are not perpendicular. The skew arms, the skew axis matching give rise to sliding, which create a torque tending to rotate the rack bar. So the rack rolling is a function of the rack axial position by means of a high resolution rotary encoder. For the rack displacement force, this test is performed by attaching a linear drive to the rack with no additional load at the input shaft, so the shaft can be moved freely when the rack is shifted. The rack force function is a function of rack yoke preload, lubrication and surface condition, as well as gear mesh geometry. There's also use a simplified analytical method, such as a calculation for roll angle estimation, lead angle error over roller error. They also use apps for multi-body modeling by using function-based recurrent apps to do a simulation to get a better result. Uh, then they also use experimental method on two sample testing. They have gear set 1 and gear set 2. As you can see at the table, they have several um, feature that they change, such as transverse pitch and helix angle. So the result is they managed to estimate the rack roll as a function of measured rack manufacturing errors. The variation between the measured signal and simulated signal can be attributed to the manufacturing fault in the pinion in the rack and pinion. The mathematical model provide a good assessment of the rack bar movement within two successive rack runs. It enable the track to be determined using a straightforward closed form approach. Uh, for the next result, they managed to predict a center distance variation and rack rolling functional performance. This can be used during a design phase in order to define the tolerance range for rack bar in terms of gear geometry, accuracy, class leading to customer specification compliance. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Faizfa Memanso. Alright, I will continue for Journal 3, and the title for Journal 3 is a review on enhancing the design and analysis of steering wheel by reducing the ratio. For our journal, we get our journal from the International Journal of Pure and Applied Mathematics. The year of journal published was November 2018, and methodology from my journal, the first one is manual steering gear and steering ratio. And the result for our journal is assisted steering system also has some demerits. And the last one, using planetary gear set.
Okay, next for the Journal 4, the title is a design of a steering gear system in a passenger car. So, now paper, Journal article, International Research Journal of Engineering and Technology. Month year published is January 2018. So, the methodology is command steering geometry, steering ratio, and steering track travel. And the result is a law for development uh, in four-wheel steering and the steer power base with a maximum maneuverability. That's all.
Right, next for journal 3, a review on enhancing the design and analysis of steering wheel by reducing the ratio. Alright, next we take a look for our Journal 3 methodology. For the first one is manual steering gear. The steering gear's job is to convert the steering wheel's rotational motion into reciprocating motion in order to move the steering linkage. There are now two styles in use, the right and pinion steering gear and the pitman arm or reciprocating ball steering gear are the two types of steering gear. For the next one is steering ratio. A certain amount of effort is required to turn the steering wheel. The mechanical advantage of the steering gear determine the amount of effort required. The steering ratio is the proportion of degree turned on the front wheel to the total number of degree turned on the front wheel. The ratio is specified for front wheel movement of exactly 1 degree. A 30 to 1 steering ratio, for example, means that the steering wheel will turn 30 degrees for every degree that the front wheel turns. The steering becomes more difficult as the ratio decreases. The easier is to steer with a larger ratio. The steering wheel must be turned further to make a turn when the steering ratio grows. The steering ratio used on a car depends on several factors and differences in the steering system. These include, for number one, manual or power steering. The second one, weight and size of the vehicle. And the last one, type of steering gear. Okay, for the literature review, in India, the car are mostly found to be front-wheel drive, and with the arrangement with drive shaft, it made the turning of the wheel limited. Where a pinion is connected to the steering wheel, through steering column, and while rotation the pinion is rotated, which is in match with the rack, which convert the rotational motion into linear motion. For problem identification, longer vehicle will have more turning radius and difficult to park in narrow passage. Angle turn by the steerable wheel is less as a result in an increased turning radius. It also increases fatigue as the driver has to make more steering wheel rotation to move from stopper to stopper. For future work, we are using planetary gear set instead of rack and pinion. Wheel gear set for better turning of the wheel. We are altering the dimension of gear ratio for quicker turning of wheel during steering rotation. The material selected in this project are planetary gear set with sun and pinion gear set. That's all from me. Thank you.
So for the Gen 4, design of steering gear system in passenger car. Okay, and next. Uh, for methodology analysis of on Ackermann steering system. Ackermann steering geometry, the outer wheel move faster than the inner wheels. The intention of Ackermann geometry to avoid the needs for tires slip sideways when flowing the path around curve. The geometrical solution to this for all wheels have their axle arranged as a radii of circle with a common center point. The understanding of Ackermann geometry which help the driver to avoid negative effect of cornering force acting on the vehicle and increase the surface in cockpit area and the comfort of driver. Testing in ANSYS 15.0. The simulation output of ANSYS 15.0 show that the deformation in rack and pinion set up with the steering ratio and uh, travel give the idea of how to construct a revolution of steering system with Ackermann geometry in four-wheel steering. So the result of simulation analysis, total deformation of steering rack at high temperature, factor of safety, equivalent stress for rack and pinion. The simulation output from all three give the assurance that rack pinion construct is safe to be applied in a vehicle from steering and rear steering. For the others benefit of Ackermann is the rack and pinion steering with Ackermann geometry have the front wheel to have compromise static stability and better front and rear wheel tracking in a curve. And the lastly, the advantage of optimal obstacle climbing capability when equipped in four-wheel vehicle in achieve. For the conclusion of the our assignment is the growth of technology in the automotive industry has expanded significantly nowadays, which has been implemented in the latest automobiles where few mechanical components are semi-electronic controlled. The traditional steering mechanism has also been upgraded with electronic assistance, transforming mechanical steering into a steer by wire method. Despite the fact the the steer by wire system offer advantage over conventional steering system, conventional steering is superior in one area: tactical input, which a driver demand when driving aggressively. That's all from us. Thank you.